Oh, whoops, the snowball's on. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, happy time zone, everybody. It feels like it has been a really long time, even though I know it's only been like 2 weeks. So I know you've all kind of come in and settled in because we No, I turned it on.
You got me.
Oh. I tricked Mr. Bones with it. Hi, everybody. All right. Let's see if I remember how to do this. It's bad enough when we only skip 1 week, let alone 2. Yeah, no, I've been a little bit injured, a little bit out for the count. So even though it's been 2 weeks, you kind of just have to assume nothing's been done. But that's okay. So basically, we're going to skip the usual Pokédex update, and I'm going to skip showing you where we got to with the previous stream's Pokemon because they're still in the exact same shape they were in at the end of the last stream because I haven't been able to sit upright. But yeah, we have a really fun theme today, and I think it's going to be good. So let us have a little look-see here. So this week's theme is Pokemon who have dressed up for Halloween. They've put their little costumes on and they are all ready to go. So I'm actually just going to start the poll straight away. And for anybody new here, because there might be some new people here after the video on the main channel, this channel grew by like 100 people, which is notable given that we only just hit 2,000. So welcome if you are new here or old friends returning to us from the original channel to now. Only the first 4 options can show up in the vote because YouTube only allows you to have 4 options, and sometimes we need extra ones if we go for a really long time. I'm aiming to get 1 done today, but I'm open to the idea of 2 depending on how things go. So it's going to be one of those play it by ear type of things. I never really know when the hip is going to start acting up again. It's fine at the moment. So no, you can't pick 5 at the moment. So you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 as your options. You may vote. So yes, we have 4 delightful little costumes here, and I thought if the chances are that we're only going to get to do 1 today, then I need to make that 1 count. So there is some options mixed in with this lot. I worked really hard on the images. I hope you like them. How am I going? I'm okay. Angry Bear Ironworks. Mr. Bones has caught a cold, but I'm hanging in there. I'm sipping my tea. Yeah, it's just one of those, like, as you grow older, sometimes you wake up in pain, and sometimes that pain lasts a little bit. That's all it was. You love them, but you have not made sense of them. Well, I'd love to know your guesses as to who you think we're making today. That could be really fun. I call it Halloween. It rhymes with grog. Yes, sorry, these are the things they have dressed up as for Halloween. I'm sorry, I apparently didn't explain it very well. So, like, the Pokemon behind door number 1 has dressed up as Vileplume, for example. Yeah, number 2 has dressed up as a crop circle. Number 3 has dressed up as a caveman. Number 4 is a TV antenna, and number 5 is a tree. Does that help? Is that a better explanation? Sorry, folks. Marvelous Malicious, I'm the same boat as you. Basically, I have like extreme familiarity, well, even more so now, but before this whole thing started, extreme familiarity with Gen 1. Then like vague familiarity of Pokemon's Gen 2 through 4, but it's all kind of like as a block. I don't really know who's in which gen. And then anything after that, Gen 5 I might know because I did play Black and White, but anything after that I probably haven't even seen before. Played Scarlet, and they all just looked brand new. I kind of thought all of them were new, but it turns out some of them are from previous gens and I just hadn't met them yet. You just got pics of your new gecko that you get in a week. Please check the pets channel in Discord. Oh my goodness. All right, Nibble Drake, I want to see this gecko while this vote goes on. Let's go have a look at the gecko. Where's my pet tax channel gone? There it is. Oh! Oh, he's so blue. He's pretty. That's a pretty lizard. That's a heckin' geck. Very nice. Very nice. Yep, we've already done Girafarig. Sorry, we have done 40 of the 100 Gen 2 Pokemon. We are 40% of the way through. And I was saying that we're 24% of the way through all Pokemon, except of course, with all the Pokéleaks going on, I'm pretty sure that they're going to add to the number of available Pokemon before we get to the end of it. So we're probably less than that. But that's okay. I'm going to try and keep this place a little bit spoiler free in terms of that. We will potentially be talking about the new games though. He's so blue. I agree. He's only 4 inches long. He looks so much bigger than that. I don't know why I'm showing the down camera. You guys can't see it. Alrighty, how is this vote going? 43% of the vote for number 2, with most of the votes in. So alright, we'll close off this poll and get started. You guys surprised me. I kind of thought that some of the boring colour brigade is here, isn't it? That's what's happened. So number 2 won with 43% of the vote, followed by number 3 at 26%, number 1 at 19%, and then number 4 at just 12%. So thank you to everybody who voted. And I'm going to reveal who's behind door number 2. So this is of course a crop circle. Mr. Bones is okay. I'm sure he's okay. Okay. This is a crop circle, and I'm going to reveal who's behind door number 2, dressed up as a crop circle for Halloween. Now, I think some of you would have already guessed who this potentially is, but I will just say that I've had to use the standard sprite for this, and he's not who I have in mind for today. But it is, of course, Unknown. Such a fun little guy. Yeah, it was definitely a BCB win today, looking at the other options. But yeah, you guys have picked Unknown, and so that's who we're going to start with today. Alrighty, we need a sprite. Now the sprite that I have available to show on the screen is, again, Unknown. But I think it's the letter F is the main sprite. I don't know why they picked the letter F. But nevertheless, he's there. So I just actually need to pull out an Unknown library here. And I have some ideas as to who I think might be good. So I'm going to just draw out a couple options here, and then you guys are going to have to vote again. So I hope you guys are happy with Unknown. Because of the crop circle thing, I thought we could do maybe, this is C. It's going to be rough. This isn't going to be his final portrait or anything, but it's like a rough approximation. So that's the letter C. Then the other ones that kind of really look like crop circles are H. Well, this guy kind of looks like a Star Wars extra. Let's see, who else? O is, again, very round. I have to be careful I'm not spelling out something rude. And then, let's see, who's another good one? That's the question, Sith Assassin. Which Unknown are we making? All right, I'm seeing some requests for like the letter K. I don't think the K is super interesting because the K kind of looks like a duck or a fish. So I'll draw K off to the one side, but I don't intend to include it in the... So like that's K. I don't intend to use that one there, I don't think. The exclamation point is so over it. Like, that's solid. None of the others have any like real solid bits. That's just an exclamation point. No toe beans. Thanks, Mr. Bones. Another Master, I am also, my legal name anyway, starts with a K, and so like I understand. Like I'm not like I am part of the group I'm insulting. So yeah, I think, all right, well we'll do CHO and exclamation point, I think. So yeah. CHO and what does Z look like? Z is like this. He's got like wavies. Like I do think most of them are pretty obvious when you like, cause you can look at them and pretty much read them. Okay, if we name him Choc, he has to be Choc with an exclamation point at the end. Yeah, and in the meantime, I need to work out what color this fellow is, because I think he's meant to be black, but I don't know if I feel like working in that much black today. I have black. I have white. You may have noticed that like so many things have moved around in the room behind me. What you don't know is basically for this stream, every single light and camera has changed places. I had to like completely rip my room down to the, well, not to the studs, but like I had to move everything except for the main grid shelf behind me for that Pokemon video. And even then the grid shelf got cleared off. And so I kind of took a chance to like build a new lighting frame over my main filming area. I say build very loosely. It's adult Lego when you take apart metal IKEA shelves and assemble them in different formations. So I got some new lights back there, and I've got this, which doesn't really show up on stream. There it goes. It's like a rainbow light, but it just looks like a light everywhere except for where I kind of cross over it. So it's kind of off at the moment, but like this whole area, I can swing my arms again. Yeah. The skull light I've had for ages, but it's been really hard to work out where to put it. And it's like, it's Mr. Bones's sign. The bones is in. I'm guessing that they pupil blink, Loot, but I haven't checked it out. I also have a spider like that light. But because you can't see the back of this set of shelves, I was going to set up like a giant spider web with a spider in it, but you can't see it with the new place for the face cam, so I don't worry about it. Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll close this off. I think you guys have made your choice. I'm going to leave the F on the screen, but we will be making the C today. Alrighty, so I might just embellish this little guy a little bit for our main. Am I leaning too far out of frame again? Okay. So that's a safety eye. And then he has, most of them have like a main circle, right? And for this one here, any reference images people are able to provide are welcome, but please know that you don't have to restrict yourself specifically to the letter C. What I really need to know is if it's solid on the back, but I think Mr. Bones might have already shared that with me, so I just haven't had a chance to look yet. And then I might have to break out the armature wire for this one here, because this shape is spirally. I don't know how interesting today's stream is going to be now I'm looking at this, because that is just a long tube with a wire center. Hold 1 second, I'm just going to go grab my wire. Scramble, scramble, scramble. It's in the drawer behind us. Somewhere. Oh, I have pipe cleaners. A pipe cleaner could work. No, pipe cleaner's probably not strong enough. We'll do this. Oh, I need to go get some wire cutters, guys. Hold on. so helpful. Well, we're basically halfway home. Okay. Stop panicking! Folks, there are rules! I'm back. Everything's fine. So yeah, I have, it's thick wire, but it's quite soft and bendy. And we just have to be careful not to megapod him too much. So that's going to be the official portrait of our little fellow. I think I am going to try and use a safety eye for him. So what we need is a round circle. That's our normal sized safety eye there. And it's white, and then it's got like black or dark grey or dark blue around the outside. Around the outside. So we'll create that as one piece. Then we need to create this thing. And so at least that main C part will just be one long tube. And depending, I could do this as part of that tube and just like bend the wire core in it, but this bit here I'll create as its own little tube. Though honestly, if I was better with wire, I could use the end of the wire to create like a stand here. It would have to be as wide around as the piece itself though. I will try. But first up, we're going to just create the eyeball itself. You didn't panic? Is that bad? Should I rewind, panic, and then skip back to present? No. Gold star for you, Purple Dolphin Studios. Not panicking is exactly what you should have done. Yep, so I've got my two of my canvases here and here. The other three, I actually do use them. I use them to stop the sound bounce off the wall I'm facing when I'm normally filming. So the other three are, sorry, the camera's kind of flipped so it's hard to point them out. They're kind of like against the wall behind where these shelves are back here. Yeah, I might do a little studio tour at one point, but it's just not that interesting. It's a stand and rotate kind of thing. Rain, I'm on a perpetual experiment with wire as to what the best size is to work with. I have very, very thin florist wire that's not very good for structural supports. This is literally just called armature wire. It's used in clay. I found it in the clay section of a craft store. It's great. It's soft enough to bend, but strong enough to like act as a support. And that's what I've actually used for Albert in the background. Though really I should have used something slightly stronger for something that size. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm not the right person to give you proper advice on wire because like I'm just like a very much a grab whatever's available and I'll work it out type of person. It does kind of look like the @ symbol. You are correct. Oh, Incognito. That's a fun name. One, two, three, four. I gotta be careful not to go too big. I don't see the point in going too big on this particular little guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's why I've got the pupil out already, because it's going to help me stay nice and secure. And if we get this guy done in like the first hour, we will definitely, I will promise you guys, if we get him done within the hour, we will continue on and we'll do another one. Because I'm not going to shortchange you by that much. No way. How do I keep the wire from slipping in the crochet? I don't know, there's different ways to anchor it. You can like, with a thinner wire, I'm probably not going to bother with stuff like that today because it's just going to sit on the shelf, so slipping, and it's such a simple thing, slipping's not an issue. But with other things, what you do is you create little loops in the wire and you literally like say your wire support looks like this. What you do is as you're bending the wire, you bend a little loop into it and you do one at the ends as well. This is strictly for bigger pieces. For smaller pieces, you can again just do them one at either end. And then when you're like let's say it's inside your crochet piece, you sew through the loop of the wire into the crochet piece and you anchor it in place. I say with supreme confidence as though I've done that more than once, but that is absolutely how I would logic my way out of that particular problem. Oh no, my hip doesn't hurt at the moment, Nibble Drake. That's the... We're fine. We're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Excellent. I cannot emphasize enough how much of just an old person injury this thing is. Like, it was an injury from my, I think it's my netball days. I've been trying really hard to remember when exactly I did it, but it just sort of happened in the past. And just, I don't know. There's a bunch of fancy names for it, but we don't need to go into all of that. Well, trust me, you guys will know when it starts to hurt too much for me to keep going. But currently it doesn't. Currently I'm not even aware of it. Sitting on the ball helps. It's actually part of the reason I sit on the giant exercise ball every stream. It's because I've been babying this thing along for the 5 years you guys have known me. So it's just one of those things. Some people have bad backs. I have a bad hip. Have I missed any major events in the last few months that you've not made it to stream? Ushil, I'm not sure. We finished Gen 1, and honestly, that kind of took over everything. We did a little bit of planning for the 12 Days of Crochet, but those streams are still available. I don't think anything majorly lore-busting has happened. And by lore, I mean L-O-R-E. I know we haven't broken any LAWs. But yeah, no lore-busting shifts have happened, I don't think. What are my earrings today? They are gold beetles. They are glorious. In fact, they're so glorious, I'm going to take one out and show one to you. Here we go. They are new. I saw them and I had to have them. So they're like a scarab. They've got a little pink gem. 2 little pink gems, technically. They are going to be my Christmas earrings this year, but I just bought them and I couldn't resist wearing them. You're in the bad back brigade? Yeah. They're so pretty. I like them so much. It's just a shame they weren't available last year when we did the 12 Days of Bugsmas. You don't have your ears pierced and don't want them and you love seeing cool earrings? Yeah, earrings are like a big point of expression for me. And I'm thinking about getting some more piercings. I've had more piercings in the past, but I've kind of just let them close. But I'd like to get a second in each lobe at least. By that I mean a re-piercing of the second in each lobe. I don't do so well with cartilage piercings. I get hella infections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Cool. And now I need to commit, one way or the other, to the color of our unknown. We're gonna do black, you reckon? I think we're at a good thickness. I actually should check the Discord reference images though. What on earth? Oh, wow. Thank you, Loot. I can't believe you found C. I mean, I can believe you found C. You've managed to find all of them so far. Oh, he spins! But does he rotate? Come on, man. Do a potate for us. Nope. Okay. Oh, there he is. There's the back. All right, cool. So it is solid at the back. Oh, he has an extra join in this that he doesn't have on the reference I was looking at. He has an extra join up here. Sorry, little mate. You don't have enough limbs for me to be cutting them off. That actually... Okay, with the addition of additional support there, we might not actually need the wire. But I think I'll still use it just for longevity's sake. He'll hold his shape better over time with a little bit of extra internal support. And we're not internal support snobs. Ooh, micro crochet Bugsmas earrings. I love. I've been wanting a pair of, for lack of a better term, snuds, snail studs. But the only ones I can find are from Temu, and I won't. Hi, Nikki. Happy time zone. Right, so let's let's talk for a second. The new Pokemon games. Has anybody in chat been playing those? I have avoided... No, I'm not actively avoiding. I just haven't specifically looked up any playthroughs yet. Because I know PM7 and I know J&M TV plays... Is it J&M TV plays? Mikey. I only know him as Mikey. I forget the name of his channel. He pops up, I see his face, I click. What do you want from me? I know they've both got like live streams of them playing, but so far from what I've picked up, the entire game is trapped in Lumio City, and that was my least favorite part of I think it was a black and white Lumiose. I definitely played the original Lumiose game. But like the cities are my least favorite part of Pokemon. In Scarlet and Violet, I spent the whole time running around in the wilderness because pretty. I play Pokemon Snap so much because pretty. I don't want to. I'm not like straight up. If it's the whole game is inside a city, I'm not getting it. That's where I'm at with it. It is M&J TV. Okay, cool. J&M TV sounded wrong. That said, I do not wish to tarnish anybody else's enjoyment of the game. X and Y were the French one. Okay, so yeah, I played X and Y and I played Black and White. Or I think I played Black. I might have played White. I played one of them. I think I have both. Whole game is set in one city. Yeah, that's kind of off-putting. It's just like, okay, I guess this game is just not one for me then. And I bet that the DLC that they've already announced... Oh no, they've already announced like a $50 DLC add-on. We talked about this last stream. Where I think that's just a mega zoning, but like I can see how they could logically keep adding on to this $50 at a time to give you more cities or access to a garden or something, but it would take a lot to convince me to play it at this point, which is sad a little bit. Because I think it's the last Pokemon game coming out on the Switch, because I don't have a Switch too, I have a Switch. Night Watermelon, thank you for hanging out. Current name list. Cookie. It's good enough for me. Mr. Bones, I also saw Incognito, which I thought was a really fun one because it is the German name for unknown. And I also liked Cho. It's like CHO exclamation point because those were the options in the poll. So I would like to submit those to the name list. Thank you. Choc is also acceptable. See, okay, so then we changed to black. And we did 18 front post single crochet around. And now we'll do 18 regular single crochet around. You've been watching a streamer play it and it's actually super amazing? Yeah. So yeah, that's the next step in my decision would be to watch, probably PM7 if I'm honest, play it and just see if it looks like something I would like. How did they not do more with Pokemon Snap? I know, right? Like, I would literally pay. I would literally pay for more Pokemon Snap. Just more regions. Even just like... I get that they probably feel that they've exhausted generic regions like Volcano and Ocean and blah and blah. But like, literally, I would pay like a $50 DLC for... Let's get some different gens. Not in the same locations, but like... I'm happy to go to another snowy mountain, but in a different place. And another ocean, but in a different place. You know what I mean? Is unknown flat or round? He has dimension. So I think that in answer to your question here, I'm going to answer round. Oh, bumped you. Sorry guys, I thought you were safe. I thought you were outside the realm of me being able to bump you. I was wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so I've either dropped or not added a stitch somewhere, so I'm just gonna like chuck an extra one in and it'll be fine. It's black, I'm not going back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Once you stitch black, you don't frog it back. I agree. Pokemon Snap is the Pokemon game I play most often these days. I like to do a couple of laps of just any of them, any of the areas before bed. It's nice and, like, recently I've been doing the underwater one, but honestly I go to a different place every evening. It's lovely. Lollyflops has wire in him, Nikki. Lollyflops is actually one of the few that does. No, this guy here is going to have a wire support though. So I'll put it on screen just for anybody filtering in and out so that they know. I'm not going to use any in the main base, I don't think. I'm just going to... Okay, the wire support is going to look something approximately like this. So I'm not drawing three-dimensional wire, it's just a line. I'm going to do a loop that goes inside this bit here and then out like this. So all one strand. And then if I have enough, I'm going to try and do like a nice wide base for it, is the plan. So we'll see if I can do it. You want feral notepad. Nibble Drake, I didn't hear that. Congratulations. Alright, night Jay of all trades, thank you for hanging out. Oh, thank you, Savvy Banani. I slaved over that. I rewatched all 58 streams. Not in full. I skimmed through a lot of them, but like, I'm funny. I think I'm funny. So it wasn't that bad. But yeah, that is one of the few videos, and I say this with a little bit of, I don't know, it's pride is what I'm feeling right now. Normally, once I make a video and I edit it and I upload it, I can't watch it again. The cringe factor is too high, and I don't go back and watch them again. With that one there, as soon as it went live, I heard Mr. Bones open it up on his phone to watch it on the balcony because he hadn't seen it yet. And so like I went and I stood over his shoulder and I watched it again after doing nothing but watch it for 2 weeks straight. So like, and I enjoyed it and I still laughed, and it was just like, I think it's really good, and I'm really proud of that video, and I think it's good. Cookie, Incognito, Chalk, and Feral Notepad. Yeah, Autistic Fropleo, that kind of happens to me as well, where like, I go through gaming phases, and honestly at the moment I'm replaying Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which is a deep cut for most of you, I dare say. But yeah, that's what I'm playing at the moment. That's just how that happens sometimes. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and play that game. And I think you can get it on GOG for like $3 these days. I paid slightly more than that for it, but... yeah. It was so good it pushed you to carve out time to make it to stream again. Well, good. Good. Then I'm glad for anybody who saw it as an invitation to rejoin the streams. We're happy to have you, and we're happy to have you back. Yeah, see, Jackie Madden, I would absolutely just... You're dropped on a wilderness planet. You know what I mean? And it's filled with Pokemon, and humans haven't gotten there yet. At all. You're the only human. That is my ideal Pokemon game. I want to crawl through the wilderness of all different, like, terrains and stuff, and, like, replace a Pokemon Center with a weird little alien sunbeam, and replace the Pokeballs with something you pick from trees. And I get that I'm probably encroaching upon Arceus territory. I haven't played that one. But like, I want no human interaction at all. I don't want to speak to the humans. Oh, hey, I remember that you recommended Clackety. I have written that down as something that I'm supposed to look up, but I have not yet looked it up. The stem of this eye is going to poke out the back, and that is going to bother/frustrate me. Oh, I need my needle nose pliers. Mr. Bones, my love, if you wouldn't mind grabbing the needle nose ones for me, that'd be good. We're a crafty family. Sometimes the tools disperse themselves across the way. Yeah, less people. I don't want to spend my whole time in a town. I already do that. Every decision I make in life is about getting away, further away from the people. Thank you. And bless you. Alright, so that's like the thing that goes inside. Like that. I want to make sure I make this the right length. So if you all will just bear with me. Bear with me. Ah! Let's see. I'm going to lay out a piece of yarn and use it to estimate the length, because I don't want to work with the whole roll attached the whole time. Maybe that's the better idea. Anywho, that's about right. Sorry, you guys aren't seeing a master crochet person today. You're seeing a novice crafts person doing their best to experiment with a medium they haven't spent a lot of time with, but I mean, I've done it a little bit. Oh wow, okay. Maybe I do just work with the roll attached for now. That's quite a lot of yarn. Okay, but I have my initial little bit that I can finish off the eyeball sticking out of. You've melted the end of the safety eye to make it smaller before. I could do that, but I think it is going to be fine. Can the pokey part of the safety eye be chopped off? Yes, I believe they can be. In fact, I've got some clippers here. We could just try and knock the end of it off. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, so if it gets mangled, it's not going to be a problem. Oh, that came off quite easily. Yeah, cool. They're quite long, so I'm not really worried about stability, and also I know that this isn't going to get like tugged on by toddlers or anything, so there we go. Problem solved. Good call, everybody. Alright, so we do have a funny little wibble wobble where the colour change happened. There we are, just pull that in a little bit. And we're about to start decreasing, and I think we want... I'm just going to work over the top of this for the first stitch. Just to lock it in place for us, and I don't have to worry about it again. That said, it means that there's going to be a bit of chaos on the screen as this thing swings around and around and around. So y'all just enjoy watching that. It's 4. 6. Wait, why are we yaying? What's happening? You want to be where the people aren't. Yeah, don't get me wrong, people have the capacity for great, nice, lovely, wonderful things. Community is one of the purest forms of joy out there, I think. Like, I mean, look at us. We're a happy little community, and I missed you guys last week. And we're like, you know, I think the Discord is a pretty nice place. But also, I just want to be where the people aren't. I want to be where the trees are and the people aren't. And, like, I get that largely from gaming. So it'd be really nice if Pokemon would literally just drop me on an alien planet, or I say alien, I mean Pokemon planet, and then just, like, there are no people. I'm thinking something like Subnautica, right? You're the only person. That's it. Maybe you can discover some ruins and something and find that you are post-people, not pre-people. There we go. I have one more stitch of this base piece to go. And then there will be some freedom involved. There we go. You want to be where your bed is? Yeah, let's just make sure that eye stem is still sticking through the middle of that wire piece. There we go. And we'll fasten this off. Now if rotation ends up becoming an issue, I can go back in and just like sew, as I suggested here, around that in a loop to like lock it in place in various locations inside the eyeball here. I don't think it's going to be a problem, just because of the nature of this particular shape. There we go. And what she does next may surprise you. But I'm actually going to bend the wire loosely into the shape I want it to be. I won't add the actual corner to it yet, but I want to bend it loosely into the shape I want it to be, with a little bit of extra. Mr. Bones is probably cringing really hard at me, my attempts now. He's the master of this sort of thing. But then I want to just stitch a tube separately so I don't have to like wrangle the wire, and I can just thread it onto the wire afterwards. Okay, so that kind of goes to like, that's the little cornery bit. I guess I lied. We are doing the cornery bit. Leaving some added room there for the yarn thickness. Goes all the way down to here. Mr. Bones, would you come here for a second? We'll wait for that to filter through. They all pupil blink. No! Hi, are you up to potentially twisting some sort of base that will help this stand up?
Yeah, sure.
I was thinking like just out and around, but
out of the current wire bit to just like.
Yeah, like don't mess with anything. Like if you look at the way the seat is,
leave all that the way it is.
Leave all that the way it is, and then leave me a little bit of a stump there as well, so he's floating because this comes down a little bit.
And then like a stand out of this bit.
Yeah, because like you've done so many good stands for me over the years. Yay, we delegate. It's novel to me for a chat to be discussing crochet and it be relevant to the stream. Oh, who are you watching stream Stardew? Because I used to have some Stardew Valley streamers, but they've all kind of moved on to other things. I still watch them, but they're not Stardew Valley streamers anymore. The Mystery Dungeon Pokemon games don't have people in them? Okay. Good to know. If a Pokemon game with no people in it is my ideal, doesn't it make Pokopia my ideal game? Potentially Bumblebee, even if the little humanoid Ditto creeps me out. And also, I found out recently something that I possibly should have known beforehand. And that is, were you guys aware that it's only one Ditto in the anime that mucks up the face of the Pokemon it transforms into? All of the other Dittos do it perfectly. And so, like, I've been operating under a false idea. Argon Matrix and Evolution. Okay. Argon Matrix Evolution. Thank you very much for the recommendations. Okay, so you guys knew, you just weren't telling me about the Ditto thing? Is that what's happening? It's just so funny that like that one moment of that one episode completely changed how the world saw Ditto forever. The OG Pokemon Snap, it's more than one Ditto that does that. Okay, alright, so it's not just me not knowing the lore, it's actually that they don't know their own lore. He was shito. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
I think it's a good way to counter his powers, because otherwise his powers are really good, but like, you know, he can't do the face.
Yeah.
It's just such a perfect.
All right, I gotta thread this onto the end of that, so don't join them together too finished. But thank you, honey. That looks great.
Very round.
Yeah. See, you do such a good job. Grab your hands. Thank you. Look at this. Ta-da! My bit's allowed to be kind of.
He'd make an amazing microphone.
Hello, it's Thursday.
Because it's like, it's got the bits which hold onto the, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. See, my bit's allowed to be wonky and kind of bent because it's going to get covered up with crochet. And I knew if I wanted it to be like smooth and visible, it needed to go to Mr. Bones. He is a top tier skeleton. I agree. 10 out of 10. Sorry guys, I bumped the camera again. We just looked at all of the dittos that had their stuff together and we were like, do the thing. They were like, we don't want to do the thing. We were like, nope, you got to do the thing. That's the rules. That's adorable. There's a ditto later that can only transform into mini versions of other Pokemon. I would treasure that boy. He would be so protected. Do the roar. Yeah. Watch these VODs all day. Okay, good. Because like I've kind of run out of Smosh to watch. So maybe they'll end up on the list. He does deserve a cookie, and I baked him like 4 dozen ginger cookies 2 days ago. So Mr. Bones has access to cookies. Don't you worry about that. This is basically just like an endless tube, and then I'll go back and count how many rows I did. We are like here. We go starting from, I'll lay him down. So we've done, and I'm thinking I should have done a 5-stitch too, because this is looking a little on the thick side. Dang. I was worried about the wire not fitting inside a 5-stitch tube, but I think this will be fine. I watch modern Smosh. I found that any from like the Defy era aren't for me the type of humor it is. That's not to say it's bad. It's just, you know, what makes me laugh is the modern contemporary stuff. So anything from the last 2, maybe 3 years. I didn't really know what Smosh was until recently. It's funny how something can be that enormous in a space you frequent and you still somehow don't encounter it. But yeah. Ginger cookies. I'm talking, it's a gingerbread red recipe, but I've modified it to use oat flour instead of wheat flour. So I feel like it's not correct to call them gingerbread anymore, but they're a ginger cookie, and we use gingerbread icing on them, and they're good. They're tasty. You don't think anyone from Smosh likes their Defy era either? Yeah. Just like, yeah, I like their the games channel, I like the podcast, and I like the Reddit stories. And I'll watch a smattering of the other stuff, but those are the ones that I've exhausted. Oh yeah, I really liked season 1 of The Rookie. I like the rest of it. I like after that I found it was kind of like average. Like, I'm not raving about it, but I thought season 1 was quite good. But then I'm a big fan of like really cheesy shows. Like, I also like 911. I just love it. I love the fact that there's like a volcano in Texas and a tsunami in wherever that one's set. Yeah. And most of all, my inner child is soothed at the idea that there are people out there who will come to save you if you need them to. So like that, they're comfort shows a little bit. we go. I'll admit that the whole Smosh thing only started because like I got caught up in just the hilarity of Shane and Courtney announcing that they were married out of nowhere. And I feel like it would have been funnier to me if I had have known that there was like this whole thing of them like not being like publicly together. But I got really caught up in how funny it was watching people try to work out if it was real or just another joke. And that's roughly around the time I started. How was the Letter of the Unknown decided? Art of Alice. I drew a bunch on the page and we picked. Today's theme is Pokemon who have dressed themselves up for Halloween. And so the first vote was you guys picked the crop circle. I think you guys might have known or worked out or thought about the idea that it was an unknown. But in any case, here we are. Making a tube on a Sunday afternoon. Oh, I'm all tangled up. I'm really tangled up. Hang on. There we go. Now you have to look up ginger cake recipe so you can satiate this dye I need. Literally the only substitution I've made is the same amount of oat. Like we just grind up our own oats, but like oat flour to wheat flour. That's the only swap you need. They even bake for the same length of time. They're slightly softer and they've got a slightly grittier texture, but I like that. But then Anzac cookies are like one of my favorite biscuits. One more fun description. Its transformation ability is perfect. However, if made to laugh, it can't maintain its disguise. Oh, so Giggle is the perfect name for our Ditto. Do I want to make all the unknowns? No. I'm not saying I won't at some point. But honestly, it's a lot of tubing. It's just a lot of tubes. If I was going to make all of them, I would get out my, like, I think it's called I-cord, you know, the little, like, French knitting where you, like, crank the thing and then it comes out the bottom. I would just get that out. And we would do it that way if I was going to make all of them. Because it's just a bunch of tubes and you guys, like, there's just no work involved here. Thank you very much, The King Theory. Yeah. So we went with the letter C because this is complicated. This is complicated streams, but it's complicated knots. And he has a very nice crop circle kind of shape to him. Oh, thank you, Anne. Yeah, I'm really proud of that video. I'm just really glad that people are watching it. Technically, he's Giggle the Destroyer. But yeah, naming him Giggle is perfect. I love it when we nail it like that. So that's where we are at. Yeah. They're cranking through it. I'll do this for another 5 minutes and then I'll thread it on to show you guys, but I don't think I really need to do the whole thing, right? So yeah, I'll do another 5 minutes of just single crochet tube. And then the breaks might be a little bit more frequent today as I try and like stop and do some stretching. But then we'll come back and we'll pick another one. Oh, we should do the name vote, everybody. I should do a K to go with him. I will consider it. The K kind of looks like a duck or a fish. But honestly, it's one of those things where, I mean, all the patterns go up on Patreon. You guys know that by now. But once you have the pattern for the main eyeball, the rest is just tubes that you attach in various configurations. What are you watching? It's complicated. Yeah. Current name list is Cookie, Incognito, Choc, and Feral Notepad. I think of all of the people to add to the Feral family, I wouldn't have thought Notepad would be where we went with it. Because like Onyx is of course Feral, the Feral Microwave. He's back there in the background with Gyarados. It's not high contrast, but they're there. I couldn't quite bring myself to shove those two in a box. Everybody else is in a box. Oh, stretching. You should do that too. Yes, you should do that too. Stretching is good for you. You love getting jump scared by yourself in the chat video? Like I forgot I was in there and then I just appear on screen for a little. Yeah, I possibly could have checked that more closely, but I figured if I was okay with it coming up during stream, I was okay with it coming up in that video. Yeah, but see, that's not what Unknown looks like though. Mr. Bones just acted out a Feral Notepad for me. Like, I love the idea. I love the idea of a modern day mimic disguising itself as a notepad and then just waiting for that person who can't resist a list. Name suggestion. Complicated. I am open to it. Like, normally, like, If somebody is around and we suggest a name and it's their name and they don't want it used, I will nix that name every time. Complicated I own a little bit here. I think that that's my name here. So I am open to it being called Complicated. And then the other one could be called Knots. If we make a K. Yeah, Feral Microwave and Finito are besties. Caterpillar was almost over there as well, but Caterpillar has been put away. I like Charlie because that's that you know, the what's it called? That language that you use to spell things out using words to make it easier to hear. I don't know, H is hotel. Well, C is Charlie. Yeah, see, I'm old school. I can't think in vertical format. I will say that I am cutting together a pokey rap, but there's a lot more lyrics to that song than just the rapping part, and I have to work out what to put in those little moments as well. And that will be on TikTok so that it doesn't interfere with any kind of, like, I don't want to get copyright struck on my main channels, if that makes sense. But it'll crop up on TikTok at some point. It's like, yeah. If I can just get this on this first bit, we should be golden. Then it'll all have to come back off again, but here we go. This is what this looks like. So that's how we're doing so far. So he needs a little extra leg there. And then he needs about that much again. Heading down. Charlie and Kilo. Okay. The NATO phonetic alphabet. Excellent. Can we have a sample? No. Because it's, first of all, it's not on this machine, and second of all, again, it's a copyright sound that we don't mess around with that. We don't mess with the mouse. We don't play around with Nintendo. Yeah, cool. Have we had Warted? I'm not sure what Warted is. You mean as a name? No. Alright, let's start a poll for this name. So, the names were Cookie. We had Complicated. I liked that one. Creating a poll, going up to where Mr. Bones dropped the name list only recently. It's here somewhere. There it is. Incognito, Choc, and Feral Notepad. I'm nixing Feral Notepad. I think it's a cute name, but I think that the Feral family, I think it's too soon to add to it. So I'm maintaining control of the asylum there. Cognito and Choc. Oh, Choc got a question mark as well? Alright, I'm fine with that. Those are the names. Okay, Cookie, Complicated, Incognito, and Choc. We good with that? Alright, cool. Yep, there we go. Yep, we need to hydrate or dihydrate. Thank you for the reminder. Though, to be fair, I have been sipping on peppermint tea for most of this, so I am staying hydrated. C is for Cookie. Exactly. Alright, so that's what this is gonna look like. I think that I have made the tube too thick because it should be showing up the same thickness as the thickness around the eye. And I'm just trying to work out if that's bothering me or not, but that's not really a you problem, that's a me problem. Because I'll either go back and make it at like a 5 instead of a 6. Or it'll stay as a 6. I don't don't think he's that mega potted. The base has gotten a little skewed to allow me to thread it on and off, but we'll fix that later by like bending it back in. It's better not to bend it back and forth too much here. Currently a drawer. Okay, well you guys do your thing. We have ways of dealing with drawers. Maybe if I stretch it all the way out. That does make it thinner. Means I don't have to work as hard too. All right, I will keep stitching this while you guys make up your decision. Make up your mind. Now, please don't name him on the provision that we make a K as well, because I'm not doing that on stream today, which means I don't know when it would happen. I probably should have said that before we started the vote, but like, you still can call it complicated if you want. I will say also add that if we end up making a K at some point, I will allow the renaming of it just natively, maybe. I'm going to have to check that out. Oh, okay. There's a discussion going on about whether or not that alphabet is called what it's called or not, which is fine. I just know that C is Charlie. Used to have to use it all the time over the phone. So I worked in a call center. The people phone us kind, not the we call people kind. What can I say, Rain? I'm on top of it. The tube is a bit thick, I agree, Duchess, but I also think that if I stretch it over the wire, because it's got several anchor points, I can get away with that a little bit. We can make it a little bit thinner. But I do think there is a non-zero chance that I will go and make it in a 5 instead of a 6. That said, this is one of those Pokemon whose model has shifted a lot from this initial portrait here to the reference images I'm actually working from. So maybe he's just in a bold font. Like, maybe his line is the perfect thickness because he's just bold font. Some unknowns are more intense than others. You used to have to use it often for work calls, but your brain refuses to store the actual words. Yeah. Same, Ushiel. I used to have a little, like, post-it note, not a physical one, but like a digital one stuck to my screen, just down one of the sides, and it had the alphabet in it for me. Because, like, most people remember certain ones. G is for Gavin. Yeah. Yeah, he's bold. He's a bold font. Oh my goodness, it just started raining. Where did that come from? Alright guys, if you can hear that in the background, that is some lovely rain. Yeah, out there's absolutely an italic unknown out there. Okay, I'm going to close this poll off because I do think you guys have made your choice. I haven't seen it really move much. Okay. Wow. Oh, it's a tie. You guys did it. You managed to tie them. Yes, the rain came from the sky. But, okay, so complicated and chalk tied for 35%. And then...
I brought you some rain.
You brought me a handful of rain. That's... Here, guys, I'm sharing it with you. Gross. And then Incognito came third at 22%, and Cookie came last at 8%. So thank you to those who voted. So Complicated Choc, or Choc Complicated. Comfortable Doug. Yeah, a lot of people are very helpfully pointing out that the rain came from the sky. Thanks. The sky was blue when I sat down to stream. That's where my, like, it was a broader question. I think we have to go with Complicated Choc. Or Choclicated. Yeah, Mr. Burns, I'm not saying that one out loud. Complicated Choc? Complicated Choc. Yes, the rain from the clouds. Choclicated. Hi, silent speaker. Thank you for stopping in to say hello. And I hope you sleep well. Alright, well, I'm going to... Complicated. Alright, so I'm going to pop this to one side because I think I'm going to have to remake the tube anyway. No, we decided he's bold font. I'm happy with the length of the tube. It's just I don't feel like doing the next 7 rows just to finish it off, but that is where we will be leaving our unknown. So, to one side with you, Complicated Choc. Choc is just a complicated little guy. Like, there is regular Choc and then there is Complicated Choc. And we like Complicated Choc better. We don't tell regular Choc that though. And then there's Seraph Choc, but we don't really like that guy. Okay. So, today's theme. It's really hard to tell, but we've already made number 2. I forgot to update the counter. Y'all didn't remind me. There we go. So, these Pokemon have all dressed up for Halloween. We have 1 dressed as Vileplume, 3 dressed as a caveman, 4 dressed as a TV antenna, and 5 dressed as a tree. And I'm going to flick over and start a poll. Oh, we don't need number 2 anymore. Number 1 and 3 and 4 and 5. So I'll let you all pick who we make next. I'm going to throw to a break. It's probably going to be a double break. We do double breaks because I got to go stretch my hip out, but then we'll be back and we'll make whoever you guys have picked. Please leave your guesses in the chat. I get such enjoyment out of reading them. I do. I like watching you guys try and discuss and work it out. So there we go. There's that. And I've moved everything around, including where the break screen is. There it is. Okay, I'll see you guys soon. I have my fun. Alright, let's close off this poll and see who you picked. I saw lots of good guesses for everything in the chat. So good job. So number 5 won with 32% of the vote. Excuse me. Then came number 3 at 28%, number 4 at 23%, and 1 at just 17%. This is unusual. I think you guys would vote differently if you knew who was behind each of the doors, but that's kind of the fun. So yeah, but a boring color brigade, apparently you guys won. I didn't realize that there was like a boring color brigade thing going on, but let's reveal who is behind door number 5. I'll turn off the mini so you guys can actually see properly. There it goes. So this is number 42. And here we go. You all picked it. Number 5 is Sudowoodo, because I'm sorry, if a Pokemon is dressing up for a tree for Halloween, Sudowoodo be living that costume life. He is dressed up as a tree all year round. I'm just going to try and leave that hair for him because I think it's cute. Oh, dang. There we are. It's the boy. It's Sudowoodo. I didn't realize there was such love for Sudowoodo. Woodo. Yeah, he's here to block our path. So we need to spritz him with a watering can or something. Where is my counter? There it is. Let's change that. Sudowoodo is number 42. And let's change the sprite on this screen as well so we can enjoy his hair for as long as possible. There he is. Oh, little boy. There we are. Can stick his branch into chat. You guys won't mind. Alright, let's give him a little haircut. There we go. So that's an actual reveal of what he looks like. Now, on with the show. So I didn't really draw a proper portrait for Unknown because we instead had to do a lettering class. Oh, I don't really need the trimmers anymore. Pop those over there. So we're going to draw our Sudowoodo friend here. So he's another tube. We're liking our tubes today, but he's a square tube. A long square. He has 2 tiny little peepers, which means he's either needing to be mega potted or we're just going to be stitching them on. In fact, he looks very ditto-y. He's got that ditto face going on. He's got his Teletubby antenna. And now he's bald. He is. We gave him a little prune. He's got some speckles. Don't know how I'm going to make him stand up. He's not got sufficient support really for that. But we could do a sitting one. Put him in a little pot plant or something. I'm not going to put him in this creeping pose either. Mine's just going to be regular. Either standing or like sitting. These branches out. He's got his wee little pom-poms. And he makes a very good tree. He does feel special in silver and gold. Because yeah, he's one that you can't discover normally. He's just a special little guy that you harass out of his home and take on a long journey. There we go. So I think the yellow spots will just sew on as well. Because, like, don't get me wrong, we're going to make him a reasonable size, but we're not going to mega pot him, I don't think. Nobody needs a life-size Sudowoodo. And I'm assuming that there's no, like, sneaky tails or toe beans or anything, but I'll let you guys investigate for me. Sorry. Okay, I'm doing my best, Nerdative Master, to interpret what I'm looking at here. So like, again, facing the camera. But his little hands are out like behind him on the ground. I don't think that'll show them off properly. But I can have his arms like down so that you can see one of them, like one down, one up, like waving. Confirmed no toe beans, excellent. Already sent in the Discord group, thank you. I will scroll down. I try not to scroll too much during... Mr. Bones! Oh, that's a great one, Ginge. Phenomenal. Doing a little twirl. He's got spots on his back, I didn't know. No toe beans. I'm so sorry, give me 1 second. What if these Pokemon are actually all Dittos who are rubbish at pretending to be trees? Yeah. I mean, it fits. Okay, so for this fellow, we need a squarish tube, because I do believe he is like square shaped on top, not round. And we'll just make a regular tube. We'll stitch on all the details, so he just needs to be tubed. Then we need a colour for that, so let's find our brown. It's rummage. I mean, that is the most perfectly pleasant brown we could hope for this. Then we need, I'm thinking acid. Possibly pasture, maybe acid. So that's acid, which is like a nice, it's kind of really heavily saturated chartreuse kind of colour. But then we also have pasture, which is a bit of a darker green. Though looking at those, his little tree balls end up looking almost like the grass. Do I have the other green in here? Hi.
You said chartreuse? I think you mean spruce.
Oh! There we go. So that's the other colour. They are showing up accurate on my top-down camera, so I don't need to like... I can show you on the face cam, but they are showing up accurately here. I'm thinking this is too yellow. Oh, you guys think the yellow. You're naked? He is naked. Oh, the third one I pulled out. Okay, so you guys want to use grass. That's fine. You're right. You're right. That is almost an exact shade match. And then we have either this yellow for the spots or pale yellow for the spots. I think the pale yellow looks nicer. Either could be correct. I do think it's closer to this one, but I think this one's going to look nicer. Sometimes I make that call. Cool. Alright, so we've got our colours. Thank you for your assistance. It's very helpful. We're going to start with the tube. Pseudo-Wudo. And I reckon he's going to take about an hour, tops. So, I can't, because of my physical limitations, I can't promise I'll still be okay after another hour. But if I am, we will pick a third one, and if I'm not, we won't. So, that's just how this is. Night, not Martini. I'll see you in the replay. Pale looks nicer, but the bold one is more accurate. Yeah, sometimes we make choices that come down to that. So Gyarados is a good example of that, where we gave him a dark blue eyebrow instead of a blue-green one, and that's because the dark blue felt more correct when we looked at it, at least to me, even though the green one was technically more accurate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're starting out by making a little square for the top of his head here, but it still starts with a magic ring of 6 because I'm just like that. So we have 6 stitches in our round. Look at me remembering that I sometimes talk about crochet. And I'm going to establish corners right? Not there though. There. And let's just say that I start here and go that way. So that makes it 2 repeats of 3 into 1, 1, and then 3 into 1. And that's going to give us a long kind of rectangle, because this is 3 stitches and this is 3 stitches. And then we have just like 1 and 1. So it's good. You see what I mean? So one of these will be a face and one of these will be the back of the head. And then if we have to go around again, then we just do those increases again in the middle stitch of each of those. You want to call him Professor Oak? All right, keeping in mind that pseudo-widow does mean that Bonsley exists. And so like you might want to reserve bonsai for Bonsley potentially, but I will not rule it out. You can keep it if you want. I don't like imposing too much of my will. Because if anything, if we learned anything from hearing all of the names read out in the most recent video, you guys do a really good job. It was hilarious to me to see them all in order and realize how most of them felt perfectly appropriate out of context. And then just every so often there was something like a feral microwave that I'm just like, without the stream, people are going to have no idea how that happened. Yeah, forgot about Bonsley. Cool. Then I'm doing my job. Because my job is just to remind you that there are other options for certain names. And then if you guys still want to pick it, that's on you. Professor Oak is so funny. Can you imagine if, like, in the original game you woke up and you were talking to a tree? Is that already thick enough? Because that's going to be, like, tube. Like, he's not huge, but he doesn't really need to be. What have you missed so far? We made unknown the letter C. And we named it Complicated Chalk. And that's it. That's what we've done so far. Oh, okie dokie. Oh, see, I just go, okie doke, your local handyman. Cheer tree. He does look like he's holding his pom-poms. Stick boy. Have you guys heard the Stick song? I hadn't. Apparently it's something from a lot of people's childhoods, but then I was introduced to it by a friend recently. Just like stick, 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 sticky, sticky, stick, stick. Plywood still remembers what it is to be a tree, so I think it counts. That's kind of like Pringles aren't really made from potatoes, they're made from reconstituted potato. So like, a Pringle still knows what it was to be a potato at one point, it's just it has to think really hard. And to me that's plywood to tree. Brocco tree. We already got a bunch of broccolis. Because we got Brocco Barb and like the whole bulba line kind of got named very broccoli. Call him Henry after Henry Oak. Oh yeah, hey, that'd be fun. I've been actually thinking recently that I want to re-listen to Dungeons and Daddies because, like, my goodness, that show is funny. We can't call him Cheese Stick. We like him. He's a nice boy. These are good names. I like these names. Oh, I need you guys to help with something actually. So I have been compiling a shortlist. My goodness, he's actually coming out bigger than I thought he would. Sorry, I will return to that thought. He's not even that many stitches around. What happened? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, he's 14. I thought he was still 12. I just miscounted. Okay, well, he's going to end up this big. That's still not too bad. I'm still going to continue on. It's just a lot of around and around and around. Yeah, sorry. I've been having lots of thoughts and I've got my shortlist compiled for 12 days of crochet, but I feel like I am missing some kind of like reptilian or fish based element. So if you guys have any thoughts or stories around particularly mischievous fish, This is not me confirming anything, and so like there is a pretty obvious aquatic one, but I'm looking for something more straight-laced fish shaped, because I do like to include all of the shapes in the mix, you know. So if you guys think of any, like, I find stories help. So like there's in Australia there's a possum that likes to break into bakeries and they keep finding it passed out in the pastry case from, like, it puts itself into a food coma. Hilarious, you know what I mean? Like that's an actual anchoring story to it. So if you guys know of any like mischievous reptiles or fish, I would love to hear their stories. Oh, catfish is immediately hilarious. Thank you, immediately. Because I don't know if they themselves are actually mischievous, but just like the name tie-in would get that across the line for me. Yeah, but see, dolphins... I don't like dolphins. Anyway. The cuckoo catfish. Okay. Yeah, Annie, correct. I don't want to say it out loud because it's more of a spoiler and it's more likely to go under... Well, I'm thinking about adding one because, like, we have had one before, but some of these are going to be repeat creature shapes but different forms of them. The saltwater crocodile, you reckon? Because, like, it's hard for me to think of salties as being mischievous when they eat people. That's not mischief, that's criminal mischief, and that's a different thing. The bird that's so destructive that researchers made little bird gyms for them and the birds got bored and returned to destruction. That could be so many different birds. Because I know that there's like the cockatoos. Sometimes they're known as like sulfur crested, sometimes they're known as like umbrella, but they're the big white birds with the yellow fans on their heads. They created, like, there's this wire you can put up to dissuade them from landing on surfaces. That's just a bunch of like sharp spokes sticking out at different angles in a long like strip. And they tend to pull it up and use it to help reinforce their nests. It does not in fact discourage them. Hi.
The face you make when you graduate from mischief to criminal mischief. Sorry, I think I threw you for a loop.
You did a little bit. Yes, we shan't be talking about dolphins here. Yes, Kias. Yeah, cool. So, like, I've got plenty of birds, honestly. Birds were not hard to find for this list. And little mammals and rodents, absolutely. It's like they were born to it. But, like, I'm having a hard time incorporating some kind of, like, reptile or fish, which just might mean that there isn't one, which is also fine. But I thought if you guys know of any, like, you guys tend to be lizard folk, so if you guys know any mischievous lizards, / again, reptiles or fish. No, it's fine. Yeah, it never hurts to ask the question, because I gotta start working on those soon. Which, honestly, you might find, like, don't get me wrong, like, not to toot my own horn or anything, but my videos recently have been, like, late, but there, you know what I mean? We had the doubling of the raccoons, we had the 151 Gen 1 Pokemon, and we had... The Hollow Knight one also did pretty well. So it's just like, you know, my videos have been like of a quality recently, and that's all about to go. Because I'm going to be diverting half my time to working on the 12 days of crochet, because we're already almost through October, which means I need to have started filming them already, and I have not. I have not even designed them, and we're still working on a shortlist, and it's fine. It's fine. Well, I kind of like the idea of maybe some eels, because I love how little we know about eels. To the point where every so often we discover that two eels we thought were completely different eels were actually like the juvenile and mature form of the same eel, but we can't work out where they're reproducing or how they're doing it. And I'm just like, eels. That's fun. The archerfish. I guess my problem with this is that I've asked you guys the question and you're providing lots of answers, but I also I've not heard of any of these. You have a mischievous eel story. Go on, hit us with the mischievous eel. I missed that. Mr. Plank, the local branch manager. That's hilarious. Could just call him branch manager. I'm just waiting for this eel story. I'm hanging out for it. Bumblebee, they're frantically typing like a muppet. The typing is like a muppet. Bumblebee is not like a muppet. Mr. Bones might be able to look him up for me. I can scroll back through the chat after stream. I just want to explain why I'm not having bigger reactions to some of them, because I'm working on my branch, which is actually just a tube. Is he big enough that we could give him safety eyes? No, he'd look like yeah, maybe not. He'd look like he was a different kind of plant. Really, Pseudowoodo is one of Mr. Bones' only natural predators. Because plants thrive on blood and bone. Okay, current name list is Professor Oak, Plywood, Branch Manager, Mr. Plank. Okay, I like it better that way. I didn't like Mr. Plank the Branch Manager, but I like Branch Manager Mr. Plank. That's really fun. Yeah, Ushil, I've thought about doing all of the Stardew Valley fish. Because, like, it's a new series I want to get off the ground, but it's not going to be one that can be done quickly, and it's the I crocheted every. And one of the options I have, like one of the ideas I have on that list is I crocheted every Stardew Valley fish. It's because I thought it could be fun. And I have this rack behind me here, which was in frame, but then I ended up moving everything, and so it's not in frame anymore. But I want to turn one of the shelves into like a full-on fish tank, and that would be a good way of filling it with fish. Every so often I'm reminded that trees can be carnivores, and it just rocks your world a little. Honestly, I think that they are carnivores. Well, they're probably omnivores. That's just basically whatever they can get their roots on. Okay, sunfish are funny because like seals sometimes take whole bites out of their head and they don't notice. They're just happy to be part of the team. Though, did you hear about the sunfish that they kept in one of those aquariums? And they closed the aquarium for doing some renovations or something, and so it didn't get its crowds coming to see it, and it got really depressed, and so they had to put a bunch of cardboard cutouts in front of its window, and it got all happy again because its school was back. And I don't know if that story makes me happy or sad, but it definitely makes me feel something. So yeah, well, it's inspired by that Lego fish tank, which I'm sorry is beautiful, but I'm not paying $1,000 for it. And that's me rounding. It's like $480 US for this thing. And I'm just like, I will not. Absolutely not. If it's worth that to you, go crazy, because it is beautiful. At about half the price, I probably would have done it. But I can't do that. But it's got me looking and thinking of just like, oh, hey, I know how to turn string into things. I could turn string into that. And I've got this like wire framed box that I can hang things from and build things up of, and it's just like there is an option there. I forgot about that. Thank you. Yeah, it's something. It's a very bless your heart kind of feeling. Yeah, so that might be a video that comes up soon as well. I'm surely approaching the nexus point of this guy. Trees are more detrivores. Oh yeah, detritus. I'm assuming that has a similar root word, so I think I understand what that word is. Reminds you of when they started reintroducing puffins to Maine. Yeah, I love that story. They used decoys on a stick and the puffin started standing on one leg to imitate the decoys because they're very social. And the puffins the decoy puffins that they put on this rock were kind of like, I can't draw a puffin, but they were like just like staked in. And so all of the real life puffins started standing on one leg because they wanted to be friends and they were trying to show that they were friends. And I love that so much. So precious. Exactly, the puffins are precious creatures. Yes, root word. The last regular market was today, which means it's time to start making stuff for Christmas markets. Ooh, okay. I think my tube is getting away from me here. I feel like it's nearly done. Let's just keep going and going and going. You guys picked tubes today, which is funny because of a number of reasons. Yeah, I'm waiting for that crazy eel story too. I think it's in Discord maybe. I see Bumblebee doing a lot of typing, so I'm guessing that it's being added to the Discord. Ah, puffins are the reason Star Wars has porgs. Yeah, look, I love birds. If there is a bird in my line of sight, I'm probably not listening to what anyone around me is saying, because there is a bird to look at and it is taking up all of my attention. And I'm going to feel the need to interrupt whatever you're saying to point out that there is a bird. I can't help it, there's a bird. Oh yes, a weight is a good idea. Let's see. I have my Forbidden Mentos next to me. In fact, the eyeball can come camp out on screen if we want. Oh, Benjamin is now a free-range stuffing bin. He got his wheels as part of this whole, like, moving everything around type of thing. Oh, bye Celia, thank you for hanging out. Yeah, so Benjamin is now free-range. It's a free-range Benjamin. He does not have his eyes yet, but I think we're going to sew them on. But honestly, looking at how big he's turning out, maybe we try safety eyes on and just see how we feel about him. Problem is that I'm worried that it'll throw off the proportions and I'll end up having to stitch this even longer. Runaway tube. Yeah, I'm very pleased with Benjamin. Mr. Bones got quite put out because he attached the wheels for me and I was like, oh, thank you. And I picked him up and carried him into my craft room. He picked him up, carried him back out and wheeled him in. The eel stories are now in Discord. Perfect. I'm going to skim it and if it's okay for stream, I'll read it out. Oh my goodness. Was it... Okay. So when they were a kid, they were part of a group called the Explorers Club, and one of the activities they did was a sleepover at an aquarium, where when they were getting ready for bed, the kids sleeping by the eel tank were warned that the eels would escape their tank at night, so don't be too worried if you find one in your sleeping bag. They didn't escape though, right? Okay, so there's our fellow. This is to imitate eyeballs. Do I have a second one? I do, over here. And then he has like a big smiley mouth. Yeah, I'm happy with stitched on eyes, I think. I could have done a little bit more shaping, admittedly, because he's a wiggly tree, not a straight up and down tree, but you get what you get. And I think we just close off the underside here. We'll stuff him and put some weights at the base. Take the lid off of Benjamin. Benjamin does not have high quality stuffing in him at the moment. He has a very cheap pillow from Target because the raccoons used all my stuffing and I haven't gotten around to replacing it yet. Not to your knowledge? Okay. Because we used to go yabby hunting, and yabbies are also known as marron. They're kind of like inland crayfish. Freshwater crayfish or lobster type of things, but they tend to be on the small side. They tend to be about this big where we catch them in my parents' dams. And we caught some one year, and we kept them as pets for a little bit. And then, like, the idea was you keep them for a couple of weeks, and you ooh and you are over them. You make sure they're well fed, and you put them back. So we did that, but then we had one that we had to name Crazy because every single night my mum would wake up to hearing just the sound of like click, shh, click, shh. And this little yabby would be like dragging himself all over the house, and she kept finding him like under the bed, covered in dust bunnies, and like stuffed between the couch cushions. We don't know how he was doing it. None of us were doing it because we don't do that to animals. You know what I mean? If we were doing it to them, it was too cruel. But after 2 or 3 days of that, we realized he was not going to ever be happy in the tank, and we took him home and we put him back we put him back where we got him out, if that makes sense. So, like, some of them settle in quite nicely, and some of them don't, and you listen to the animal. Crawfish, okay. But, like, yeah, in particular, like, none of us wanted, after finding him under the bed covered in dust bunnies, we realized that there was a really good chance that one day we were just not going to find him, but we were going to start to smell him, and none of us wanted that. Oh. Sorry, I took the whole eye off because the eyes aren't attached to them properly. I have a larger one. I have this guy's daddy over there somewhere with larger weights in him. But he's a little guy. He's got the little weights in him. I don't know about Mr. Plank. He's looking very Mr. Hanky at the moment. 14 single crochet times how many rows though? 1, 2, 3, 4... 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I forgot how to count for a second. And I think I need to finish this row. So if I follow, this is the level of drift I get, by the way. So I might just frog 3 stitches back and call it 18. I could have finished that row, but I think frogging back was the answer. So now we finished off the base of this the same way that we started it. And we've drifted how many stitches? So if this is straight up, it lines up with there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Okay, so we've drifted 5 stitches over 18 rows, which is, yeah, it's about my rate of drift. Normally it's about 1 stitch per 3 rows. There's a lake nearby with tons of crawfish. You can take a KFC bucket, tie a string to a chicken leg, toss it in, and pull like 7 or 8 crawfish per toss. Yeah, not quite at that level, but that's basically how you do it. We take some strings, some meat, and we throw them in and go back at night and pull them up and see them. Though I will say, once we caught one that was like lobster sized, and she was clearly like the grand dame of the dame. We called her like, she like had like all like she was clearly a very old one because you never saw them this size from this particular dam. We took her home so we could look at her. It was cool, and then we put her back. We put her back because she was clearly like the grandmother of everything going on. But yeah, we don't eat them. I can't stand the idea of eating them. Okay, so if I moved it by 5, I think that actually lines us up with another corner, so we can just go hit straight away with corner, corner. Yeah. Single crochet 3 together, single crochet 3 together, which will get us back down to 6 in 1 row. Oh. I wrote the row down wrong, but I'm doing it correctly. That's okay. For some reason I'm being shown a lot of eel images at the moment, which are, like, I have a big fan of, I'm a fan of eels. I think they're cute. Who is Boris? I feel like I've lost the plot a little bit. I've heard of, is Boris a sandworm? Is that what's happening? Because that's exciting, my goodness. Oh no, Boris is a raccoon. It's the black and white stripes that tricked me, but that's clearly a grey butt I'm looking at behind. Are you making the giant raccoon? My goodness, that was one thing I never expected people to try. Like, I put the notes up for patrons, but I'm never making another one as far as I'm concerned. I do have my large one in the back there. I have a nibbling that is obsessed with raccoons and skunks, actually. She's got very good taste. But I think that giant one might be staying here. She can definitely have one of the medium-sized ones, though. Sorry, I think I knew you were working on one. I didn't know that his name was Boris. My relationship with Discord, a lot of the time, tends to be, I'm like a parent walking past a living room where I can hear a lot of happy noises, and I like glance in and I see all of like the kids playing really nicely with one another and sharing their toys or whatever, and I get that little warm glow of like, oh, I'm doing so well, and then I walk on. I don't enter the room. So like, that means that I miss stuff sometimes. Yeah, Betty's heavy. Did you end up stuffing him with stuffing, or did you go, because like the beans really do help keep mine reasonable, though the beans are complicated to deal with. You have an unhealthy addiction with simple patterns being made really big. I just have an obsession with, it feels like my superpower is that I can take the little thing and make it really big, and so I get the itch every so often to do it. Like we did, which way do I lean? That way. We did Chonk last year, where we took regular Chonk, and I think he technically is tripled at that size, but I only doubled the pattern, and I just wanted to, and like obviously we did the giant raccoon recently, but then the snail was the original plan for that video, and man, I want to double that snail. I want to triple that snail. I want world domination for that snail. Night Sour Sprout, thank you for hanging out. Oh yeah, what are the current name suggestions for our questionable boy? I'm going to put his eyes back in because I think it helps. And I have some little yellow pins here that can add some indications. Alright, I'm going to make some branches now. So I didn't really do a piece breakdown for his branches, but they kind of just need to be, again, long tubes. They're not fancy, and then they just need 3 green balls each. I won't be doubling the Patu because he's barely holding himself together anyway. He's not a sound structure. He's all sock. The snail would be incredible. But then I look at, is it a Crafty? I think it's Crafty Intentions did that giant African snail, which was always a dream of mine. But then I saw hers and I'm just like, I can't make one better than that. Because that one is perfect. And it kind of scared me away from making the giant snail of my dreams. And so I haven't yet. So there we go. So, all right, we're going to do a little branch for our branch manager. He believes in himself, or he will soon. I have seen Neverending Story, but it was so long ago I'm not even traumatized by like what happens in it, so I don't remember the snail at all. I know Falcor, but I don't know this, and like the horse has an X in its name. What shell would I... That's the problem as well. What shell do you put on a giant version of the snail? Because, like, while the snail itself has enough shaping that I think it'd turn out really cute, resized, the shell is literally just a little blob that I put on his back, which I had to do. It was a decision that consciously had to be made to keep it simple enough to be a 12 days of crochet pattern. But, if I make it larger... That doesn't apply anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Crafty Intention Snail is perfection. And I will potentially make one myself one day. Like my own snail. But I have to wait until I know how I would shape mine differently. Because it's not just enough to draft my own pattern. I have to have something that I'm bringing to the party here. Like, if you want a snail that looks like their snail, go make their snail. And I don't know why anybody would ever want a snail that didn't look like that snail, because it's just the biggest little slug bunny. It's a pseudo-woodo. It's not a turd. We're making him branches. Oh, night Nibble Drake. Thank you for hanging out. He is a hot dog. A banana skin for a shell? That's amazing. Like, I still get so much enjoyment out of just like looking back at the photos of all of the different shells and characters you guys made out of that snail. I don't know how I'm ever going to top it. We're going to try this year, but I don't know if we're going to. And she's doing it again, folks. She's lost count of how many rows she's done. Five. I think we've done 5 so far. I think we might even just stay at 5. Not rows, but 5 stitches around. You're making the Bugsmas Mantis in blanket yarn? Curious to see how that goes. Yeah. Because I'm convinced that that little guy works at a small scale, but would not work at a larger scale. Yeah, traffic cone was what I was thinking for a giant snail, honestly. It's like the traffic cone is the one that immediately leaps to mind as like, that was just really cool. The shell is the biggest decision because it's like the feature. It's like deciding the haircut. Nobody really cares if you've made a person if you don't like, if they care what the hair looks like. I wanna know how big Boris is at the current time, and I'm open to hearing that size in either centimeters, squirrels, or kilos. Hi, Kit Kat K. Hand spans, skeins of yarn. When counting rows, does the top ridge count as 1? Like magic ring, 2 contained rows, then the live edge. Does the live edge make 4 rows? Oh, I understand what you're asking. The live edge is like when I'm counting counts as the block underneath it because that's the actual stitch. Those are just the loops. So I don't count again for this top edge. I count up to the top edge. Yeah, the squirrels thing is me just acknowledging that sometimes there are Americans in the chat and they refuse to use the metric system. So anything but the metric system, squirrels is my go-to. Okay, you're going to look questionable every step of the way, aren't you, mate? He's 117 centimeters long from the tip of his nose to where you're up to with his tail. And his tail is basically that again. So he's going to be about 2 meters long, Darcy. What are you going to do with a 2 meter long raccoon? Sorry, that came out. Just, what are you going to do with a 2 meter long raccoon? Like, I'm worried about your health and your safety. I don't have room for a 2 meter long raccoon. The mantis head is looking good so far, but just reached the rows with the arms. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like I'm not sure if the tricks that I've pulled actually work at different scales there. Alright, you're gonna just... everybody be polite and remember he's made out of wood. I'm going to contain all of the jokes that I want to make while we make him some foliage. What else would you do with a 2 meter long raccoon? Terrify people. That's fair. That's 3'10". 3'10". He does sound pleasantly squishable. Depending on how heavy he is, just be careful. Because, like, my immediate instinct is like, oh, it's like a weighted blanket type of thing. That'd be very comforting. But over a certain weight, that you run the risk of crush injuries, which is a bad thing. And not normally something I have to talk about when I'm talking about amigurumi. Someone needs to make the raccoon in blanket yarn. Yeah. Go to the Discord. Nudity Master is all over it. Also, for anybody who has seen the banner that the channel has at the moment, you might have noticed that it has a really cool piece of artwork. Unfortunately, because of the way cropping works on YouTube, a lot of it has been cropped out, including the signature, but it was created by our very own Nerditeer Master, who sent it to me yesterday. And it is very groovy. It is very cool. It depicts Haunter for the Purple Menaces and Diglett for the Boring Colour Brigade, and they're battling it out with Mr. Bones as the referee in the middle, and I adore it. I am going to write the notes here as the tree balls, but we will know them as leaves. I'm doing 6, then we do one of those, and then we'll do that, and then we'll do nee. He's more than 3'10". I'm 155, which is just over 5 foot. Yeah, and he was one something. Was it 130 something? No, he's 117 centimeters at the moment. So that might be almost 4 foot, and that makes sense. Because, yeah, then you've got the extra foot, which is the extra 50 centimeters-ish. I'm rounding heavily here. So I think he'll end up being more than 5 foot, because he's going to be like 2 meters. So he's going to be like 6 foot. Because Thomas Jefferson was foiled by British pirates off the coast of the Caribbean. Okay. Oh, you could absolutely make his little leaves in like yellow, orange, and red for fall. But yeah, it is spring here, so I'm going to go with that. We could stitch him on some little daisies so he's feeling all purty. But again, no, we're going to focus. Oh, that's a lot of hearts. Hi, Kikake. That's exactly the problem, Amy Liz. I would love to keep going bigger, but day 6 at my scale would have ended up at 1.6 meters, and day 7 would have been like 3 or 4 meters. And like, we have a 2-bedroom apartment, and this is one of the rooms. At a certain point, you need to like prioritize the people in the space. If you have room for something like that, though, oh my goodness. One day I will have a house with a whole extra room just for the giant things I create. At that point, I will be coming for the body pillow-sized Gyarados. Just you wait. We will lounge, and it'll be wonderful. Okay. And we're scrolling down the river. Oh, that's a cool snail. I like the snail. Oh, there he is. Oh my goodness. The ferals could fit inside of Boris. Yeah, exactly. I also couldn't go because of the time framing. Like, I put the time bracket around the challenge on purpose, because I knew it would contain it to reasonable. But yeah, day 5 took, let's round to say 13 hours. So day 6 was going to take 52 hours all up of work, not chronologically. So like, day 7 would have taken 200 hours. Sorry, I'm just laughing at the conversation. Just like, every so often I'll read and I'll learn something, and that's just fun. Let it be known that it is not, apparently, I have not checked any of this. Apparently it's not America's fault that they will use anything except the metric system, because it's pirates. Pirates did it. Yeah, we calculated it by day 12. We were going to be like 6 kilometers long or something like that. Like, the challenge had to end where it ended. I was just really excited to reach day 5, and I was low-key hoping I would get to try day 6, but once day 5 took longer than 9 hours, it was just kind of a no-go. Because if day 5 had have taken me 9 hours, it was only 3 times the amount of time from the previous day. So there was a little bit of math going into this. And it would have meant that day 6 potentially would have taken 27 hours, and I was okay with hitting the 24-hour point and having a little bit of the tail to go and being like, okay, we're going over, so we fail, but let's finish it anyway. But at 52 hours to get it done, one full, exhausting physically and mental day would have gotten us to somewhere between the front and back legs, and I was just like, that's nothing, that's not a thing. Night, Pamela. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I bet the amount of stuffing was ridiculous. There was a reason I used mostly beans to pad mine out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 9mm, 7mm, and 7.65mm are all used on a daily basis. Yeah, I do think that when it comes to technical tools, except for with sewing, which still insists on using inches and yards. But like anything tool-based, I feel like uses millimeters. Nerd, it's here. Your raccoon is amazing. I don't know how you're going to stuff it. You've probably already thought about that. Because like, here's a pattern that does require a little bit of like overstuffing to help some of the dips become, like some of the innies need to become outies, and stuffing is how you do that. Something I didn't really appreciate until I tried to stuff it with beans, but my goodness, I don't know how you're going to stuff that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Apparently I'm just sitting here making a bunch of leaves. 3, 4. I'm trying to remember who else I have on the board. 5, 6, 7. Oh, those are bullet sizes. Okay, Angry Bear, I'm sorry, your joke went over my head. Whizzing past, you might say. Like some kind of projectile fired by some kind of combustion process. You had a lot going on at the time? Yeah, fair. You learned that for the first time when you understuffed your previous raccoon. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not a piece of information I left out. It's something I didn't realize I was doing. And since then, I've realized that in general, I probably overstuff most of my things. But yeah, I'm now more conscious of it. And so it's something I can specifically mention. But yeah, when you magnify things, you magnify their shortcomings. And it makes it easier to spot what the problems are. Right. When did stream start? At 11 AM Australian Western Standard Times. So we've been going for just over 2 hours. 2 hours and 12 minutes. It starts at the same time every week, which is again 11 AM for me, and we don't do daylight saving shenanigans where I am. So if you have daylight saving shenanigans, that's the only reason why it would be at a different time, unless I've advertised it as being for a different time. Sometimes there are reasons to move it, but in general we keep it nice and stable. So he's only got 2 there, but I want to move on to another piece so that we don't just get caught up making a bunch of leaves. So he needs his little V fork. That's annoying. How am I going to do that? I'm thinking I can make it as like one piece like this, and then create another little notch for it. I could also just make a tube, split it in half, and grow it into 2 ends. But it means that the finishing off points will be on the tips of it, which always looks really rough when I do it. So I'm not going to do it that way. Angry Bear, enjoy the crown while you have it. Because it tends to be like a fair weather friend. How's that? Like fleeting. The crown is fleeting. Oh, hi Danielle. You've missed a little bit, but we're working on Pseudo Widow, and we've also made Unknown today. I am going to stop in a moment just to go and stretch a little bit, but in general we're doing pretty good. You don't want it though. Well, tough. It's good. The people who you want in power are not the people who want to be in power. So you are the correct person to wear the crown if you don't want it. Your entire forearm fits in the tail. Yeah, I think I clipped it from the raccoon video, but I'm now gifted with the uncomfortable knowledge of how many stitches around my forearm is. Be careful, you won't be able to... You didn't open that prize box intentionally. Well, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to leave the floor until you deal with all of the snake people. That is a Dungeon Crawler Carl reference for anybody who's not in the loop. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go for a very brief little break. It'll probably only be 5 minutes. Entertain yourselves. just have to wait for Latif because we don't ignore our precious boy. Oh boy! Alright, sorry about that, everybody. We're okay though. Alright, so this is the little Y branch. And I've done imaginary 6 and 6 back loops. Then we'll do a decrease and 4 to get it down to 5. Like these. Yes, he is. He's always on the ball. Yeah, no, with Discord there's sometimes a little bit of a delay and sometimes there's errors as well, so like it's good when they happen when we're live and we can fix them straight away. Okay, so is that long enough? No, it is not. We're going to go down another size. You're definitely making your own little tree man. I am admittedly a little behind in anything that requires me to sit at a computer. So I think I owe you guys all the way back to Maril and Centret. And I definitely need to finish Granbull and Murkrow. Thankfully this week's Pokemon have been a little on the simple side. You guys have kind of been very kind and gentle with me this week and I appreciate that. Leif Erikson. You think he's a Viking? Woodstock is funny. Alright, that was 4 around. I think that might be enough. I feel like we've reached. Okay, good. Yes, we have reached. And then I think it's just that again for second branch. But we will make it because it's all the same piece. Yeah, it's only 2 weeks of the patterns, but like normally there isn't that big of a wait for them. Like normally they come out at latest the Saturday before, at least my new normal. I understand that the times have kind of shifted a little bit. As we head into the 12 days of crochet, sometimes that means various things with other schedules. Like as we get close to the end of November, I'm happy to stream, but any paperwork that comes out, like any of the pattern notes or the finished Pokemon, might not get done in a timely manner, or they might be fine. It's hard to predict, but I do like to warn people ahead of time, and I will be making the post on Patreon as well, because I don't like anybody to be supporting over there, feeling like they're not getting what they think what is theirs. We took last week off as if KCK doesn't do everything. Hey, no, you guys are a big part of this. This only exists if both of us turn up. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is a very to-be stream. And I did think we were only going to get through 1, but then I did think you guys were going to pick one of some of the more interesting ones that I had on the Pokeboard. We have a name for it now. Very excited after doing this for however many years to finally have a name to call. I've been calling it the choice document because that's a literal descriptor of what it is. But a very helpful commenter was like, why don't you just call it the Pokeboard? I'm like, why don't we just call it the Pokeboard? So, yeah. There are some really interesting ones on there today because I thought we were going to get to do one kind of complicated one. But instead you guys picked off 2 of the little easy ones, and that's okay too. Two, 3, 5, 5. Why did I do that last row? It's not supposed to have that last row. Yeah, I shouldn't have. 1, 4, 5. You're curious what you missed? What do you mean? If that wasn't for me, that's also fine. Thank you, love. Bringing me a bevy. Put that down there. This hair will not stay tucked away. Echo Giardini. I don't want to use the silent treatment. We've only done it once before and it was incredibly uncomfortable, but I would really appreciate it if you would get out of your nice cozy bed and go and take your meds. And that goes for anybody else who needs to do that right now. Please look after yourself. You know what my 2026 Valentine's pattern can be? I swear if you're about to mention Julie Rat and Wormio, I'm gonna lose it. Your husband asked you this morning if CK was streaming tonight because he really missed our CK night last week. Oh, I am a knight. Honestly, I really missed you guys last week. I was in a real foul mood about having to skip. But last week I literally would have had to try and rig it so that I was lying flat. Which would have been weird for both of us. Yeah, daiquiri, yeah. Yeah, okay, apparently I'm incoherent on this subject, but still, yeah, okay. Noted. I like that you guys attach yourselves to various concepts sometimes, and I don't understand that that one's one that's captured the imagination. Alright, he has his little Y front. So he just needs some little feet. And I guess I'm planning them, like he's got little creepers. He's not a creeper, he's a trunk, but like still. And then I'm thinking this shape. Because he does have the thigh chonk. It's a relatively easy shape to make as well, just approaching from the foot upwards. We grow out one side, we shrink it back in, we swell it out again. I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy. I'm your weekly unwind. You're my weekly unwind, all of you, because like I am not. I don't want to reveal that much about myself. But this is a very healthy dose of social contact for me. And I didn't get it last week. It put me in a bad mood. Sent me spiraling a little bit. If streams were cancelled, where would it be said normally? Rosafa, it's always announced in the Discord. And it doesn't get cancelled often. It's just we've had a little bit of a... Let's see, I think we've missed 2 relatively recently. But the Discord is where I keep things up to date. Because YouTube community... the community tab on YouTube, you can absolutely post stuff there. Well, I can absolutely post stuff there, but it gets randomly cast out to the wind, often to people not even in the audience, and it doesn't actually get shown to all subscribers. Like, it's not an announcements feature, which it should be. It should be something where if I put a status there, it like appears in that bar across the middle of the screen, and it gets shown to people who are subscribed to me, but instead it's treated like another, like when you upload a video, it gets randomly cast out and to see who clicks on it. Posts are kind of treated the same way a little bit, and so it's just not reliable, so I'm not putting updates there. But the Discord announcements channel and the Discord live streams channel often gets a little bit more info as well. The announcements channel got told that the stream was cancelled. The live streams channel got told that I'm injured and why. Hi, Nicole! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What am I even making? I'm making a foot. I'm making a little foot. 6. Let's see. His feet are small relative to all of him. I think they're about 2/3 the size of his head. His head is about 14 stitches, so I think his foot should be only about like 8. So we'll grow out the front of it only, I think. So we'll do 2 single crochet, 2 3s in 1, and then 2 single crochet, which gets us to 10, which is nice and proportionate. You love watching me do this? Hey! Oh, I love that I've inspired you to make your own living Crochetdex. It has been... I kind of like mentioned it briefly in the video that I just put out, but I definitely didn't talk about it at the same length that you guys hear about it. But like, this has been the best extension activity for me ever. It has been the best shape training. It has been just such a valuable exercise in pushing myself as a designer, because I end up having to design things I otherwise wouldn't ever go near. And in the meantime, you kind of invent new techniques for yourself and new ways of doing things. And it's been very, very good for me as a crafts person. It's like my series of, like, I don't know if I was one of those kids who got the extension exercises. It feels like the extension exercises for me as a crocheter. All right, Daiquiri, go finish Boris. We believe in you. You'd love to see someone make Biggs from DCC. I don't know who Biggs is. Why don't I know who Biggs is? Or do you just mean like big things? Because like I really badly want to make a donut and Mongo. Like donut on Mongo. And I understand that's me eliminating all of the like humanoid characters and just focusing on the creatures, but we've met. Right, hi, I'm Complicated Knots. Sorry, I'm just laughing at the Avril Lavigne. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Y'all's excitement and enthusiasm is single-handedly what carries you to finish this raccoon. I wouldn't have the motivational drive if there was no one I could share it with. Yeah, exactly. That's me with most of my projects. If I'm showing you guys something on stream, it's because I need the validation to keep me going in general. So yeah, it's good, and I'm glad that I can like have some small part in providing a place like that, because so many crochet spaces online, this is me having a whinge now, are very not like that. I mean, I was pushed to create my own like social spaces because I reached a point where I wasn't like, nobody wanted me to post anywhere, because I did come up with my own stuff, and what would happen is you'd post something, or I'd post something, and people would immediately want the pattern or want to know where the pattern was from, or think I wasn't providing sources, which you should do. And so I'd be like, oh, I designed the pattern, and then the post would get taken down for self-promotion. So I reached a point where I was like, I'm just not allowed to share what I was making anywhere. It was very frustrating. So we don't believe in that. It's just not how we do things. Happy time zone. Oh, yeah. Night, Angry Bear, Ironworks, and Bunny Badger. Sleep well. Thank you for hanging out. Will there be a Halloween pattern this year, CK? Nicole, I've been trying really hard to get a revised Skullicorn pattern, but I've sat down to do it like twice now, and it just doesn't seem to be working for me. But like, I intend for there to be a crochet pattern before the end of the month. It's just this month has kind of been a bit of a weird one. I have already filmed a raccoon pattern for, it's coming up sometime before the end of November, but it's already filmed. It's just not edited. So that is the day 4 raccoon from the Doubling Every Day video. And I have already filmed the gameplay for the rest of, what series is it? The Soul Silver run. So I have 2 videos currently at work. It's just, I want to get a Halloween pattern out for you guys. I just don't know what that looks like yet. I think I'm going to try and do something a little bit easier for myself this week, just in terms of the editing process, because I can't sit for long periods of time to get the editing done. That's going to involve a bit of a fun activity involving like wheels and designing monsters, and I'm kind of hoping a really cool monster comes out of that you guys will want the pattern for, but we'll see how we go. Yeah. Alright, so I've got a tiny little foot here. Okay, so I did only just do the decrease. And he's down to 5 stitches around, which is not a very big foot. But we now need to make a little bit of a leggy. A pumpkin. Why are we yelling pumpkin? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, because I thought about maybe doing a haunted house or some kind of skeleton creature. And yeah, I don't know. I think because being in Australia, I don't get to reach like a saturation point with Halloween. Like there aren't like cool, inspiring decorations around. There's not like, I mean, there are in shops, but they're not like, the houses aren't decorated, and we don't trick or treat. I'm not dressing up for Halloween. It's like, I enjoy the aesthetic and the vibe of the spookiness, but I don't get to submerge myself in it. And so it's kind of hard to get the creative juices going. And like, I think last year we did just the Grim Squeaker. Oh, we did the bat as well, which was a little bit more of a general thing, but was the Halloween pattern. Whereas like the previous years I did Hocus Crocus and the Haunted Tree, but like, even then I had to go sit in the library all day to try and like get the inspiration for those. They don't come easily. And it sucks because like I really want them to come easily. It's a very creature-based holiday. And I kind of wish I could be more enthusiastic about it, because I am intellectually enthused about it, but my muse is just not interested. Oh, a pumpkin pattern. Well, I did the little cat coming out of a pumpkin one year. That's out there. I've got that awful monster pumpkin pattern from before complicated knots was really a thing. Alright, now we need to grow his chunkiness. Oh, it's just occurred to me that this is the final piece for this pattern. We need to name the guy. Do we have a compiled name list? Do single crochet. You go to school with your costume? Yeah. Or see, like, even when I worked in an office, dressing up for Halloween wasn't really a thing. But all of the desks would be decorated for Christmas, you know what I mean? So like, it was just more of a thing. Also, ooh, spooky, it's 36 degrees in the shade, hard to feel scary vibe in those circumstances. Yeah, Demonique. It's really also really hard to like dress up as anything when you have to basically be skin to the wind to survive. Is that even an expression? What am I saying? Yeah, the Skelecorn glow up, Emily. That's what I was talking about. Whereas I've sat down to design that twice now, and both times I kind of like make a leg and then leave it. Or I think I've got like half a head out there at the moment. It's just like something about it just isn't working for me. But I've had a lot going on as well. Like we've had a little bit of illness. I've had my injury, so I can't just like sit for long periods as well. It's like there's a lot of, I'm letting a lot of hurdles get in my way at the moment with it. Whereas like there's no reason not to sit down and do it. So like my hope is that I get a Skelecorn pattern out, but I just don't want to like make any promises that I can't keep. So I do still think I'm going to do a gentler video where it's like a 6-hour film that I can move around with probably tomorrow, and then like a 2 4-hour session edits, because I can manage that. And then the pattern will be up the week after that, I think, if I do one. That's my current thoughts anyway. Who knows? Things change. I haven't seen Over the Garden Wall, but it feels like something I would enjoy because like the vibe around it is good. Everyone who I hear talk about it is raving about it. You've got a very cute little leg there, mate. Okay, good. I'm happy with that. That's 8 stitches around. A raffia witch's hat, so you have something Halloweeny but spring appropriate. That's cute! I love that. It's so good. Okay, good. Like, don't get me wrong, I love picking through after Halloween has passed, and that's where I got this skull. I actually got this skull, I got a backup skull, and I got the spider. And I think I got them for like $1 each after they went on sale after Halloween last year. And so like, I've got them because skulls are very on brand for my partner over here. I could also do cryptids for Halloween too, that's true. as I said, I think I'm going to do like a monster themed video. I've got a really fun concept. I just haven't sat down to do it. I kind of think that it's a concept that's a little bit more fun if you don't know what it is beforehand. So that's my like backup plan, but then we'll just see what we can get done this afternoon. Is the backup skull for Mr. Bones? Well, it's because I liked it and they were $1 each and I was like, they're cheap little LED plastic bits of nonsense, so let's get a backup and then I can use it for a project or to replace the first one if it breaks. Just like the lights I have rigged here now, they're 3 big bright beam lights that I got on an Aldi sale, and I actually I went in there for 2. I ended up buying 3 that day, and then I went back the next day and I bought a 4th because I liked them so much that I want to back up, and because it's an Aldi sale type of thing, if you go to buy more and like you're done, like they're available for that little time and then that's it. So did I do 1 or 2 rows of 8? Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, yeah. We'll do 4 decreases just so that we finish this leg off. Aldi does like to keep us guessing. Exactly. Like who knows if something's going to ever be available ever again. So, but that said, you can get some really neato stuff, and like those lights, I haven't filmed with them yet, so I'm talking them up a lot for something I haven't even tested properly. I've tested them briefly before I put all the effort into rigging them up like that, but I'm hoping that they're as good as they seem to be. And they are solving a problem that I've had for 5 years, if they are, which is just getting my hands nicely lit. Like, look, I've solved this. Look how, I look flesh-toned. That never happens. But I think I finally resolved that, but the solution is not a logical one. The solution is pointing a really bright light at the white wall over there so that it bounces a nice amount of light that way. And then this is a ring light that I have mounted in front of my computer monitor that's lighting this area. In fact, you can see it in the eyeball there. Hello. And then I've got another light over here so that the side of my face isn't completely in shadow. But if I start turning lights off, things go messy very quickly. I have seen Dirk Gently. I watched the first season. That's all I remember about it. Hi, Hoopy. Thank you. We did finish Gen 1. We are almost halfway through Gen 2. So, tell you what, if you like, I'll turn the lights off and you can see what I'm working with here, but then the camera will probably behave itself and set itself really nicely, so... We've got 2 little leggies. I'll put it on this side so he's nicely matched. And I forgot to start the vote while I made that because I got distracted. Did Mr. Bones put things in chat and I just didn't notice because I feel bad? He's just a cute little branch. He'll be more stable when he has both legs. Let's start this poll before I forget. The eye jar is a TikTok influencer. There we are. He can be looking this way instead. I love my eyeballs. I got them for Christmas one year from Mr. Bones, and they're just so good. Names. All right, there we are. Professor Oak. Professor Oak. Spacebar not working. Spaces are implied. Then we have my goodness, these are long names, folks. Plywood. Then we have branch manager, and it's gone. Mr. Plank. And we have Woodstock. What a good selection of names. Mr. Bones, you're having way too much fun posting Pseudo Widow cosplays to the Discord. Alright, cool. So that's going to be the name. And I might make him some little leaves while we work on that. I'm frustrated a little bit at the moment because my spirit is so willing to keep going, but I also don't want to... I know that the smart thing to do is to stop, particularly as we've done 2 already, and that's already more than I thought we were going to get. But I so want to do it. It's just I know I shouldn't. Hello to Echo Jardini's cat. I will shoot a nope. Pss, 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 pss. The Soul Silvers. Yeah, well, I mean, we're 42% of the way through. Soul Silver carried a lot of this gen. Soul Silver actually got us quite a big chunk of the way through gens 3 and 4 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can count. Why wouldn't I? Which is why I think if we start another run, I would have it be Gen 5 maybe on its own, or possibly Gen 5 and 6, possibly Gen 4 and 5 and not 3, because if the Soul Silver run is any indication, the Soul Silver run ran for like, what, 2 years? So if we're finishing Gen 2 by like June next year, we'll finish Gen 3 by like December next year. Possibly early the year after. I have to allow room for 2 years, if that makes sense. So I think if I have it for, I'm trying not to overlap it is all. Sorry, I don't know if these sentence fragments are adding up to anything. What I'm trying to express is that if another run takes about 2 years, I have to make sure that we don't overlap the streams with the run again, because it made it so complicated trying to like keep the time frames right and not spoil anything, and it would just be so much easier for me if they weren't overlapped. So I think that maybe Gen 5 and 6 for that run, and then in like 3 years we'll be at the end of Gen 6, and by then like Gen 12 will be out. Why does every Pokemon look at least 30% cuter in a seated pose? That's just because they're just like plonked down, you know? Like, I think everybody can relate to this little guy is just waiting for the bus. Plus, there's the Pokemon official line of sitting cuties, which is like all of the Pokemon in a seated position as plushies. So Nintendo themselves admit that they all look cuter when sitting. Sorry, the Discord is full right now of people cosplaying as Sudowoodo, and it's really funny. I'm definitely excluding Gen 2 at a minimum, and I think I have to exclude Gen 3 as well. The only problem is that means that you guys won't see any of Gen 3 for a few months, but I think that's fine. Or maybe I'll start doing some combined streams where we work on Gens 2 and 3, or Gens 3 and 4. Or we time travel back and fix some of the problems with Gen 1. Though that's not super likely. But you know what I mean? Like we don't have to like dedicate ourselves just to Gen 2. We could do a mix, particularly as we get to the end of the gen. Because I feel like Gen 1, it was important to me to like focus and get that done. With Gen 2, I'm a little happier to open it up and focus, like expand the focus, or even after Gen 2. Sorry, every time I say Gen 2, my brain goes penguin. Gen 2 penguin. The Gen 2 penguin is a type of penguin. Oh, yeah, no, Soul Silver has 1 episode left. I've decided that it's going to be it, and it's going to be done. I feel like we wrap it up pretty nicely. I've filmed the gameplay for it already. I already know how it ends, but I haven't made the Pokemon yet, and it's kind of hard to get excited about it, and the game is really mean to me at this end of it, okay? That's fine. It's going to make for good viewing, I think. Oh, my voice is going now. All right, you guys have spoken thoroughly on the name, so we'll be wrapping it up and doing the reveals very soon. There we go. I just wanted to finish his little leafiness. Penguin. Yeah, and I think that it might help me with some like theme puns as well, because in Gen 1 I had to stretch the boundaries of some of those punchlines, whereas like if I'm allowed to fish outside of just one gen, then maybe, like, but then knowing you guys, if I have just one Gen 3 in the mix, you'll find it every single time. You'll sniff it out. Like, you have this tendency to, like, I'll set up this theme, I'll come up with 5 funny, hilarious options, but they're only really funny in a certain order, and you guys will manage to blow past all of the normal ones and hit the weird one every single time. You know what's even funnier, Loot? I literally haven't thought about Gen 2 penguins forever. Is there any way can we it again but a new run? Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, Razafa. We're going to start another run, but it's just not, it's going to focus on different generations, and I'm thinking it's going to be in Pokemon Black and White, but I haven't decided yet. I have some testing to do first. Because I still want it to be randomized, even though it's Gen 5 and I'm not super familiar with them anyway. That's just more fun if it's randomized. And it's going to basically have a lot of the same rules as the one we just did. It's just going to be a different game, still one of the DS or 3DS type games, so one of those console-y ones. Not Scarlet or anything like that. And yeah, it's going to be like, if it's going to randomly evolve at every level, and as it evolves, we're going to make it. I've gotten too used to saying it, so we have to keep it going. All right, let's close off this poll. All right, so Branch Manager Mr. Plank won with 41%, then came Professor Oak at 31%, then Woodstock at 18%, and then Plywood at just 10%. So let me just make a note of that so I don't forget. Branch Manager Mr. Plank. Perfect. All right, and Bumblebee, I have not thought about the final boss for Gen 2 yet. I'm just going to see, after we've got hit about 60 or 70%, we might pick one out. But let's flip back over to here, and today's theme, for anybody who missed it or came in a little bit later, is these Pokemon have dressed up for Halloween. So Unknown was dressed up as a crop circle, and Sudowoodo was dressed up as a tree. Now, I saw a lot of conjecture about who number 1 was dressed up as, so I'm going to leave it till last. So the antenna I saw correctly guessed. And I will say, sorry, before I reveal, I just want to say that, like, the background color of the square is a reveal too. I really gave you guys an extra hint on these 2, or these 3. It's just you went for the 2 that were a full picture anyway. So number 4 was correctly guessed as being Whooper, who was dressed up as a TV antenna if I've ever seen one. Yeah, and then we've got number 3, the caveman, and that is Croconaw, who has his little Bam Bam tunic on. And then what's really weird? The penguins are clearly gaining mind control abilities. And then we have number 1, who is, I did see it hypothesized, but he's dressed up as Vileplume. He's Magenium. Guys, I offered you Croconaw and Magenium, and you picked the F and the stick. As I did mention that I think you guys would be really sad when you saw which ones you picked versus the ones that were available, but that's okay. It just means that we'll have a stream eventually that has all of the cool ones in it. But yeah, that is where we're going to call it today. Like I said, my spirit was so willing, but the flesh is so weak. So, so it's tube day. Somehow we ended up tube day. Let's grab the Unknown and pull him back in so you can have a look. And I'm hoping by next week I've caught up on everything and I'll have some fancy new Pokemon to show off, and I can show you guys the Pokédex and how it's looking. So we are doing the letter C, Unknown. He's in bold font, we've decided, it's fine. And his name is Complicated Chalk, because those were the letter options we had. And we are making Sudowoodo, Branch Manager Mr. Plank. But yeah, happy times then, everybody. I hope you had fun. I had fun, and I will hopefully see you guys all next week. So, toodles.